Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we are going to be talking about Mac and Devin Go to High School. This is a special 420 edition of the movie reviews that we do on this channel, and I wanted to throw it back to a childhood classic of mine. Now, a lot of times when you talk to people and you say, oh, what's your favorite 420-esque movie, stoner movie, whatever you want to call it, they're going to tell you something like Pineapple Express. They're going to tell you something like, one of the Cheech and Chong movies. But for me, it's more of a deep cut, and that is Mac and Devin Go to High School, starring Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa of all people. Yes, they did make a movie together. Yes, it's kind of this weird thing where there's a soundtrack that goes along to it that's kind of supposed to be the album, the album releasing with the movie, and the movie is promoting the album, and the album is promoting the movie. This album, the soundtrack for Mac and Devin Go to High School, has the song Young, Wild, and Free on it, which you've probably heard. It was much more popular than the actual movie itself, so I guess they won in that respect. So this is like a very low budget, $1 million budget, just very, very trashy movie. I mean, this movie lives on Tubi. It's been on Tubi for like 3 years, and that's where it belongs, okay? Don't get me wrong. That's where this movie belongs. It should be on Tubi, and it should stay there for the foreseeable future. This is the definition of a Tubi movie. It's an hour and 15 minutes, but it really only runs for about an hour, and that is what I think is another thing of beauty with this film, is that because it's so trash, you can put it on when you're, chilling with a bunch of friends, and maybe you've had drinks, or maybe you've, gotten a little stony baloney, or whatever the case may be, or maybe you're just in a giggling mood. I think that you just have to be in a laughing mood to watch this. You obviously can't go into it expecting it's going to be a good movie. Snoop Dogg basically plays himself, and Wiz Khalifa plays himself, but only about 30 minutes into the movie after trying to actually act for about 30 minutes of this film. Now, it was probably, filmed in 2 days total, but I digress. So the plot of this is Mac is a super senior of the highest regard. He's played by Snoop Dogg, and he's flunked out of the senior year 15 times. So he's a 15-year super senior, about to graduate high school for the 15th time. And Devin is played by Wiz Khalifa, who is a, just complete nerd, going for valedictorian, about to get it, and all of these things. He's got a girlfriend that's like super religious, and it's this, whole weird, cringy thing. They're complete polar opposites, and of course, Snoop Dogg is the weed dealer at the school. He's going around serving everybody, and that's basically just all you need to know about that. Now, the way that they come into contact with each other is Snoop Dogg finally gets motivated to graduate high school, and I think this is so funny the way that he gets motivated. He meets a teacher named Miss Huck. Now, Miss Huck basically gets lied to by Mac, and he tells her that he's the athletic director. She sees him in class the next day and says, "You're not the athletic director. You lied to me." He's like, "Let me take you out." She says, "I don't date liars or students. You have to graduate high school." Now, this dude's been a senior in high school for 15 years, apparently living the high life in his way. Now, obviously, we're not going to talk about the very real implications of this. This would never happen, because we're talking about a literal he's supposed to be 33 or something like that in the movie. He's played by a 40-year-old Snoop Dogg who looks 50, by the way. But he's like running around with this girl, and like they're stealing a joint, and like they're smoking it together in the vice principal's office, and all of this stuff. And it's very, it would be controversial if you thought past the fact that this is just a movie made by two rappers for like $1 million that has nothing, based in reality, obviously, at all. But so that's basically what his entire motivation is, to just get with this one teacher. It's like, so you've just been waiting the entire time to get asked to leave high, like how low are the women that you've been with standards that they haven't been like, yeah, you just graduate high school, you 30-year-old freak. That's so crazy. Or just drop out. Just stop going back. You're making the conscious decision. But that's what makes it so fun, and why you're like, the entire time you're like, what is this? What's going on? And everything moves so quickly. I mean, Wiz Khalifa basically has like cover-ups on all of his tattoos for the first like 20 minutes. They're terrible cover-ups. You didn't see all the tattoos on his neck. And then Snoop Dogg takes Wiz to go and get a bunch of tattoos after literally lacing him with a edible. So Mac laces Devin for the first time that he's ever smoked weed with a fucking edible. Bro, that is insane. That's like, you know, having somebody drink for the first time and you go, hey, why don't you drink half a bottle of fucking vodka? And then it shows this like scene where they're like having fun on the ground and like, oh, I got the munchies, everything's all good. No, it is not. This movie sets a terrible example for what weed is. I mean, it's like what Wiz starts smoking weed and his life just like gets so much better. He like turns into a complete burnout where he's smoking all day, every day, and not doing any of the things that he wanted to do. But yet it all works out for him. And it's like, yeah, okay, that might happen to some people. But like, you know, weed is something that should be enjoyed in you know, not to get on my high horse, but in very specific occasions. And, you know, not like I haven't been on my weed tip at some point in my life. But that's all, you know, I digress. It's just funny how all this stuff comes about in the movie. So they get paired up together, Wiz and Snoop Dogg. I'm just going to refer to them as Wiz and Snoop Dogg. It's too hard to keep up with the names, even though I've probably watched this movie like 15 times. Shout out to my friends for always enduring me whenever I put this on when we're having a giggly time. I think it's the perfect way to spend an hour when you're in a lucid, when you're in an elevated state of mind. I think it's such a funny way to spend an hour with the homies. Watching it alone is a little bit different, not as fun. But, you know, I will say it hits a little bit different for me, and that's why I wanted to make this review in the first place. And I'm going to keep this one a little bit shorter. I don't want to go through the entire plot of the film. I actually recorded an entire review for this. But I just wanted to go back and kind of make it a little bit more simple and just talk about some of the things that I liked the most about the movie, some of the things that I thought were the funniest, some of the reasons why I think you guys should watch it. So I'm going to leave you guys with a few of my favorite lines. At one point, Snoop Dogg, walks into the library and he's smoking a blunt, just walking into the library. And an old lady is sitting at the desk, and she goes, "Excuse me, sir, you can't smoke that in here." And he goes, "Oh, don't worry about it, lady, I got a condition." And she goes, "Oh, yeah, and what is that?" And he goes, "I got an addiction to Granny Poo Nanny." And then he just stares at her, and she pulls down her glasses, and she goes, "Really?" And it's just so absurd that I love that every time. At one point, Snoop Dogg says to the vice principal, "Man, that's some bullshit." And the vice principal says, "An elegant defense." And then continues like spewing his facts. I thought that was good. They at one point, the editing, they just don't care about, I guess, like telling the story at all, because there basically is like a super loose, low stage story the entire time. They show up at the tattoo parlor, and Snoop Dogg Wiz Khalifa says to Snoop Dogg, "How did we get here?" And Snoop Dogg just says, "We flew." Like, just no further explanation at all. So funny. There's a scene where Mike Epps, who's in this, and he's so funny in this as well, is a teacher, and he's grading some papers, and he's just going through them. He's like, another fucking dumbass motherfucker, another stupid. But he's like, "Mama should have let this one go." Like, just crazy, just throwing all the papers. So absurd, so funny. Oh, and of course, I believe it's DMX himself voices Slow Burn, who's basically our narrator through the entire movie. I don't know how I didn't bring this up the entire time. He opens up the movie. He's a talking, walking joint. So funny. I love the addition of him. Every time they switch back to him, it's so good. And I just love all of the cutaways to him. It's such a funny gag, and I think for a movie that's probably got about 3 locations that they filmed in, it was a very smart idea to put something like that in, as well. Oh, and one more thing I wanted to say as well. I think this is kind of like a coming of age of stoner movies. Like every kid that's ever smoked weed has always been like, oh my God, or turned into a stoner, I guess I would say, is like, oh my God, this is the most fun thing ever. I wish that I could be like, Snoop Dogg or Wiz Khalifa and be super successful, and just it wouldn't matter if I'm stoned all the time. And then you grow up and you realize that's not the reality. You cannot do that. You can't operate that way. And you probably shouldn't. But it's sort of like, if it did all work out the perfect way, then that's the way that it would go. It literally ends with Wiz Khalifa becoming valedictorian anyways, because they found a renewable energy source. I don't know if I brought that up yet. A renewable energy source through the power of marijuana that they used to pass the final thing and to get Wiz his valedictorian and all this. And he just, instead of doing a speech that he was talking about the entire movie and preparing for, he just goes up there and just goes, so what, we did drunk, so what, we smoked weed, and just sings the song, which I will be honest is a banging outro, because everybody's dancing along, they're all in their cap and gowns, all of the cringe characters along the movie have showed up, and it really does feel like a legitimate movie for a second. Obviously, the entire time you're watching it, you go, okay, this obviously never hit the theaters. This was a straight to DVD kind of film, dropped in 2012. It's not going to blow your mind. It's not, even comedy-wise, it's not going to blow your mind. But if you're getting stoned and you want to watch a funny stoner movie and you've seen all the other ones, well, then why not put this on and have a laugh? So I'm going to rate Mac and Devin Go to High School a 420 out of 10. I think that it is great for what it is. I think it's one of those movies that exactly what you think you're going to get is what you're going to get. And that's what you get with my reviews as well. So if you like this shit, please like the video. Please subscribe. I don't think YouTube is going to show this one because the gameplay that I did for this one, I hit a bunch of people in GTA. I really couldn't keep my steering under control. And at the very end here, I drown, I'm pretty sure. So it's not great. But if this ends up getting anywhere, please like, please subscribe, comment what you want me to review next. Oh, the video is over. Would you look at that? This literally is the end of the video. Should we just restart it from a normal? Oh, look at that. Hey, guys, we're just back. Look at the gameplay hasn't even changed. Look at all this great editing. But if you like it, if you want to see more, subscribe. I've got some great videos on the channel. Go and check those out. I started doing this new format where I am getting the gameplay and talking over it instead of doing the gameplay while talking, as I think I can at least focus a little bit better. And I'm going to try to maybe start learning a little bit of editing, maybe a little bit of, stringing some things together at first just to try to get some cohesive thoughts out there, and then trying to get some clips, because this one for sure is a movie that I want to get some clips. Wanted to get some clips for, because I know so many people haven't seen it. I think it's a little bit redundant with films that everybody's seen, all of the clips that are super famous, and people are like, oh, I'm going to add these clips in a really funny way where I talk about a coin toss, and then I go, what's the most you've ever lost on and then I switch to Anton Chigurh saying coin toss, and then everyone goes, oh my God, that was so clever, I see what you did there. It's not clever to me. That's not clever. It's not funny, but I do, for contextual reasons, want to be able to pull up stuff and not just have GTA gameplay at a certain point. But we're learning, we're growing. I'm talking about all this at the end of the video because I know that likely nobody is listening. We're at 109 subscribers. Get me up. Subscribe to the channel, please. I'm dying over here. I need a little bit of love in my life to keep me going on this YouTube grind. I'm going to keep going regardless of if I get love or not, but I would appreciate the love it makes me want to keep going better more often. Okay, goodbye now. Like, subscribe, comment.